Here we are.
We're here.
Look at you.
We are here, baby.
That is fan-freaking-tastic. I don't know if I expected it to go better.
Yeah, I'm only looking out one eye hole here, so this is gonna be fun.
It's an interesting looking sack. Not sure where you.
It's butcher paper for all my grillers out there. It's literally just folded over butcher paper.
It's like a Minecraft situation. My 8-year-old would be
Yeah, you like my tear tattoos? They're pretty sweet.
That's good work. I didn't know you had the skills.
Oh yeah, mad skills.
So, greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to another live episode. I expect this episode to go.
That was
hot. I don't know, about as well as probably the last one went. But boy, that was something, right? Now we were in it for a little while, but it turned out. The better team won. I mean, the better team won. Did the more talented team win?
The better coach team won. That's for sure.
I would agree, and it's hard to dispute that at this point. So I'm sure a lot of this is going to turn into what exactly happened, and what do we do, and why is Will Hall going to get on the bus on the way back, and all that. I'm sure I get it. Everybody's got those thoughts running through their heads, right?
Yeah, you're not telling us anything we don't know.
So we were in it for a little while, man. It's obvious that the kids didn't quit for a while, but and boy, at this point, having those penalties after the play is over, and clearly being just outmatched,
right? Yeah.
Philosophically, I think it's just getting old.
Yeah, for sure.
It's getting
Somebody
super
let
old.
us know on the Twitter space. I see a lot of people in there. Just make sure that you can hear both Jason and I. Let me know. I think I'd accidentally muted the microphone, so it should be good. Good to go now. If y'all let me know.
Great. I'm trying to pull up the schedule right now so I can go to this game and look at some stats. I don't think our offensive stats probably turned out that bad.
Yeah, I have it up. Outside of that third down efficiency, man, 1 for 13. We've talked about it.
Well, we get one every game. We're good for one.
Yeah.
Can you
I
bet
think
on that?
technically we got 2, but one of them was for that penalty. I don't know if you remember that third down penalty. I don't know if that considers. I guess it's not, because I know we got 1. But man, I don't know if it's more frustration to the fire of like we let a guy that should be playing at Southern Miss run up and down against us.
We talked about that on the pod. Ahmad
Yeah.
Hardy. Do you have his final numbers in front of you there?
Yeah. So he, let's see here. He finished with 15 carries for 121, averaging 8.1 a carry, 2 touchdowns, a long of 34. Not to mention, he also had 2 receptions for 53 yards. So you're looking at a total of
Just ran with a passion too, right?
Oh yeah, 174 yards. He's responsible for. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, I can run through if some.
Well, I finally just got the team stats pulled up here.
Go ahead.
And so let's just run through those stats really quickly. And I have some thoughts that I either remember or jotted down during the game as well. Then after we get through this, we'll catch up on some of the comments and then hopefully get a call or two and put a ribbon on this thing really quick, because who wants to just wallow in misery?
Yeah, if you before you get going on stats, if you want to talk, join the Twitter space, different than the Twitter live. And we already got a requester. Sweet.
Well, let's hold off on that.
Yeah, we're going to hold off on that. But we go ahead and get that request in. I'm kind of watching the order that they come in, and we'll get you guys lined up.
Yeah, and this won't take long. We'll get to them, and we're going to try to run through these callers. Let's keep it to a couple minutes. It can get a little long-winded. Let's just like a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I'm going to look this week. I'm going to play some music. If you go real long, when you hear the music, I'm cutting you off. So,
oh, I like it.
Yeah, we're going to play some outro.
Great
Oscar music.
Okay, total yards: Southern Miss 347, ULM 432. I can kind of deal with that. And there's going to be a lot of noise in the background. It's just going to happen. I can do
that
whatever
was
I
totally
want.
not directed at Trey Sutton. Maybe there were some other people that were long-winded, but no, Trey, you can stay on as long as you want.
No, yeah. But there will be some noise behind me tonight. There's an entire other family that came over here to watch this thing. Bad idea. Total net total yards 347 for Southern Miss. ULM 432. Rushing yards 182 Southern Miss. Deal with that. 246 ULM is kind of what they do. Passing yards 165 for Southern Miss. 186 for ULM. Again, right there. Mm-hmm. We were 9 of 26. They were 12 of 20. There's some efficiency going on there.
Yeah,
that we should probably clean up a little bit. And that's what you're going to get from Crawford, for better or worse, right? Incredible athlete.
Yep.
Just not the passer. And then when you get him in there, I struggle to understand why you put in a running quarterback. I know we ran him some.
Yeah.
You put in a running quarterback and you call these plays that, would you would rather a passing quarterback run them when we have a passing quarterback on the sideline. I don't understand. So we finished 9 of 26, 35%. That's just not good enough, bro.
Yeah.
Not good enough at all. There's the touch. We had talked about it on podcasts throughout the season. That's been the big knock on him. Incredible athlete, just lacks it, right?
Yep.
And if he was that good, anyway, okay. Rushing first downs, we did have 9 to their 7, so that was good. But total plays 64 for Southern Miss. Total plays for ULM 62. You mentioned the third down situation there, but
yeah, let's open it up because we'll just get depressed if we don't.
Go ahead.
Steven, you should be good to go.
Steven who?
You'll know.
The leg man? He's the leg man? The leg man.
I'm here. What's going on, guys? Obviously, we have Discord and text, and man, the apathy has set in with me. I know I said it last week with the crew that I go to the game to. I was I was just upset last weekend, man. Like so negative, and I don't know why I tune in for the. I guess I'm a glutton for punishment, but it's just pathetic. I think we have talent on the field.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't seem like there's any passion. The coaching, the mistakes, the penalties. I don't understand it. It's our defense plays pretty well. The offensive play calling's awful. I don't know. I mean, the funniest thing I could laugh at all night was the announcers calling Ty Mims T.I. Mims.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah, at
Like,
some
it's not
point, get
that
it right,
hard.
right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the only win. I guess, I'll be at homecoming, but I just don't know, guys.
The game was pretty
what does
close
Jeremy do?
for a while. The game was pretty close for a while. What, 17-14? Is that
On
right?
the scoreboard, it was close. And I think the announcers
Yeah.
talked about that. It was not. I mean, yeah, we hung around for a little while. I feel like on the scoreboard, but I felt like we were still outside of.
I can't find it on here. How many points did we give up in the fourth quarter? 21.
I just clicked off. Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the announcers alluded to it. I mean, they were pretty awful all night, but they weren't wrong.
21.
Going in
That's
to
right.
halftime.
21 fourth quarter points. It's not the way you want to close it out, right?
We just weren't close. We weren't even close in the first half. I mean, the score was close, as Pilo was saying, but the performance was not close.
Right.
So I don't know what we do. I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this, Steve. And if there's anybody else hanging on, is there anybody else, Pilo?
Yeah, we got 3 more, but it's okay. Keep going.
Okay, so real quick, I'll pose this to Steven, and then we can hear the answer, and then we can move on. But and everybody just wants to do that. He wants to fire Coach Hall and just leave him right there, tell him to get his own ride back. I get it, and I don't even care anymore. I've reached that point as well with just not caring what happens. So now would make us all feel better tonight.
Sure.
What happens after that?
That's a great question.
I don't know. I think that's been the question.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people have.
Because when it first started, we're like, gosh, we have like 8 more games, and now we have 6 more games. Still half the season. It's obviously not working out. Everybody can see that for whatever reason. It doesn't even matter the reason. You can sit here and debate the reason for hours, but at the end of the day, it's just clearly not working out. So
yeah.
I mean, what do you do?
We owe him.
When do you do it?
Yeah, well, we owe him what we owe him, regardless of what happens. I think we owe him for the rest of this year, obviously, and then I think next year.
Yep.
So I think the only thing you can do is to cut bait, move on to a new coach, promote someone internally, see if it gives some juice to the guys. Because I honestly don't see another win on the schedule.
No,
it's gonna be tough. Hey, Steven, we appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get to this next. I know it's gonna suck to stay on hold forever. If you want to call back in, fantastic. And of course, I'll see you at homecoming.
Yeah, no worries, guys.
Thanks,
I'll
Steven.
keep with
everybody. Yep,
of course.
Let's see. Andy, go ahead.
Hey, can y'all hear me all right?
Yeah,
got you, buddy.
All right, I'm driving home, so I'm trying to make sure it picks up through the
Driving
truck.
home from where?
I'm in Hattiesburg. I didn't make it to the game. Monroe's a long way from me.
Yeah, did you go to a bar or something to watch it, or?
No, I was with my girlfriend all day. She wouldn't let me watch it.
Smart lady.
She's like that.
Smart lady.
Yeah,
Keep her
she
around.
let me listen to it though. She let me listen to it though. But
cool. Well, what you got, Andy? What's up? Sure.
Just one quick thing. I try not. I don't know how much y'all see me on Twitter. I try not to be super negative. I know Coach Hall is another human like us, and
yep,
he's got a family to raise, and I don't like to see people lose their jobs. And I'm not going to sit here and advocate for a man to get fired or something. But I just got one. I got a question. This is in reference to the song y'all play. What's everybody supposed to be asking Mississippi State about? I'm confused at this point.
Well, that song, that song that came out on the Napa Auto Parts like promo cassette tape, I think, like in the early '80s. I think that was just following a Mississippi State. Yeah, I mean that was. It was. I think it was immediately following kind of when Southern Miss had just beaten Mississippi State for like the 5th straight time or something. So it was pretty funny back in the day. I mean, the context is gone now, but back then it made a whole lot of sense.
Right, but I'm just like, man, it hurt. You know, me and my girlfriend were sitting in the car listening to John Cox call the game, and he'd be up there getting all excited, and then boom, there's something done happen. You know, we done had to punt the ball or something. You know, you talking about three touchdowns in the fourth quarter. You know, since my granddaddy's been taking me to Southern Miss games for the last 20 years, I don't know what it is. We just get tired in the last half of the game and let everybody walk over. So I don't get it.
Yeah, I think strength and conditioning has been a problem for the last several years.
Well, I won't keep y'all long. Y'all go on to the next person. Y'all have a good night.
Awesome, man. Thanks for calling in, Andy. I got you.
Thanks, Andy.
To the top.
To the top, brother.
Let's see. We're gonna roll to the next one here.
Okay, who we got?
Gold Buzzard. Go ahead.
Gold Buzzard.
If you'll unmute, you should be good to go.
Yeah, hey guys. Let me tell you, it's so frustrating. You know, remember there were days where we would go and we're playing Alabama. We thought we had a chance to win. You know, every other team, Louisiana Monroe, ULL, we would just be like, we're going to beat these 10. Now it's like, all right, we're playing ULM. We don't have a chance. There's no way we're going to win.
Yeah.
I bet against Southern Miss, and I love Southern Miss. I bet against Southern Miss. It's just, you see other coaches, the coach for ULM. I mean, he can make magic. I don't know what goes on. I don't know what happens, but this is just, it's not where we should be. That's all. You know, it's just, we used to be a great team in a mediocre conference. Now we're a bad team in a mediocre conference, and it just something needs to change. That's all.
No, I mean, thanks for calling in. We appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I think even the announcers at ULM, as bad as they were, even said, you know, at one point they were like, USM used to be the guy. I mean, they used to be the Boise State before Boise State was the people knocking off people, you know, in the early 2000s. So I think we were definitely those people, and I think we all agree that things need to change.
I've gotten to the point to where I don't think that we should even have Southern Miss on our uniforms. Rip it off.
Can I have a follow-up question?
Yeah,
rip it off until until we can prove that we can wear the Southern Miss again.
Do we think it's a scheme thing, or do we think it's a talent thing?
No. Like, I don't think it's either. I don't think it's either. I don't think it's either, Pilo. I don't know where you come out on this, Pilo. I don't think it's either of those things. I think the talent's there. I think the schemes are okay. I think that the culture and the discipline are completely missing.
Yep.
In my opinion. That's just my opinion. I think we have the athletes. I mean, I think that the recruiting databases will tell you that. I think that we have good people on staff that can call good plays. I think that their track record will tell you that. I think it's getting lost in the shuffle, the meaning of togetherness and being a team. That's where I think the big holdup is.
Yep. All right, just moving along.
Yep.
Let's see. This one's been on for a little while.
Hit it.
All right, you should be good to go.
What's up, guys?
How you doing? Who's this?
I called in a few weeks ago, I think after the last road game we had. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Okay. I got to go get me another drink before watching the U.S. soccer team.
Oh, but that might be bad too, by the way.
It can't be worse than anything I've seen from the football team. So I'm going to keep it sweet.
Very good point. Mm-hmm.
Leave Will Hall in Monroe, and Jeremy needs to bring the Brink truck to whichever guy he thinks is going to be the best candidate I really like the guy out at UNLV.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to bring the Brinks truck and keep putting money in that until he says he has to come down here. We need some sort of offensive spark that this team has not had in the 4 years that I've watched. And we need to get better soon.
Great. No, great points. And enjoy the soccer game and all of the drinks. Thanks for calling in. And boy, I think it does. Will we all be happier if we just scored more? I think so. Even if you're losing, I think we would just.
Yeah, I was pretty happy when in Fedora's first couple of years when we were, scoring 50 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a roll of the dice if we were going to win, but all right, here we go. Next one.
Okay, hit it.
Taylor, you should be good.
First time, long time. Look, guys, I think the problem's fairly simple. Southern Miss for the last 10 years has made a decision not to be serious about football. And we're finally coming to the peak that seriousness is finally coming and cascading through the Jay Hobson era and now into the Will Hall era, that we wanted to hire one of us. Look, I like Will Hall. I've talked to him maybe 10 times. He's an excellent guy. But I thought from the very beginning of this that this was going to be a nightmare because he wanted to be friends with everybody across from A to Z in the athletic department and coming up through the community. And that's fine. And I encourage those folks to do that. But look, at some point we have to be serious about football and athletics again. When we came into the Sun Belt, we were right around the middle of the pack with athletic budget. Now we're second to the bottom, just behind ULM, who beat us tonight. At some point, we have to return to say, okay, we're going to be serious about football again. And until that actually happens, it doesn't matter who we hire. We're going to be bad.
Fair point. And within the last 10 years, I think you said, Monken was in there, I think. So I think that was a serious hire. But the rest of it, you're spot on. A lot of it does have to do with who you can afford. Unfortunately, the good thing is, you mentioned ULM there. They don't have more money than we do. We are killing it in NIL in the worst period of Southern Miss's football history. Somehow we are still, I think Destiny chimed in last week. She said, we have a fan base just itching to get behind something. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's
I wrote
the
biggest check I've ever written to the NIL. Granted, NIL's only been around, but I wrote the biggest check I've ever written this year, and knowing we were going to suck. I want us to be good. I've invested, time, money, and talent into this.
Yep.
Season ticket holder, Eagle Club member, the whole 9 yards. And what do we get in return? An athletic department that the fans are literally screaming at the top of their lungs to fire this guy. I don't know what else to say. Jeremy McClain has to make a decision.
And look, but Taylor, you're a smart guy. And obviously, so you would agree that it's going to happen, right? Tonight,
if
it were to happen right now, it would make a lot of people feel a lot better. Would it make our football team better next week?
Well, of course not. But this season's over. Chalk it up as a loss. We're done.
So that being said, so the goal at this point is just to make everybody feel better right now. And you're probably right. I think everybody would do, and we would feel better for 24 hours. Then we'd be like, what are we going to do now? Who are we going to pay now?
Well,
that might be better. I don't know if it'll be better or worse. I'm just asking you, what do you think? Would it be better for the rest of this season? That's a good point too.
Well, I think I don't know if it can get worse. Right now, I think from a strategic approach from the athletic department, I'm sitting back here and I've invested this money. I try to go as many games as I can, even when I was flying across the country to do so. And it's frustrating from a fan's perspective. And look, fans don't for the most part don't put the real big money up. But sure, it is frustrating from a fan's perspective that you say I've invested all this time, money, and talent into Southern Miss athletics, and what are we doing? Just sitting around to wait to do the inevitable. Sometimes you have to take the burning stove, the burning pot off the stove, to make sure other things don't get worse, because this is a cascading effect throughout. You don't fire them now. Okay, well, what precedent does that set for the next guy? Okay, well, maybe I won't get fired. It's cool. Southern Miss, they don't care what they're doing. They're not a serious program. To be a serious program, we have to fire Will Hall immediately.
Point well taken. Point well taken. That's hey, dude. Love the passion. Love the investment that you're making, and yeah, at some point you got to have some return. You have ROI, right? ROI. Anybody's in any kind of business,
absolutely.
It's got to be there, and at some point you're going to start to question why it's not. So, thank you for calling so much.
Yeah,
I really
thanks for calling in, man. You're dead on.
Yeah, God bless. Talk soon.
See ya. All right, we got a few that have been waiting a while. I'm going to get to
hit it. Have you caught up any of these comments yet? I didn't see if you've been clicking.
I've thrown some up, but we have a lot coming in.
Okay.
All right. Landon, I know you've been waiting a while. Go ahead, buddy.
Is Landon unmuted?
He's still muted. There we go.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Hey, Landon. How are you?
Okay, cool. Doing good, man. How are you?
Oh,
we're here.
Great, man. Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, the Miller Lights are helping me out right now. But first, I just wanted to say the gentleman who talked before me, I agreed with everything he said. I just have a quick question for y'all. I just want to hear y'all's thoughts on it. How confident are we that McLean can, hire the right guy to replace Will Hall? I mean, obviously, he won't be our coach next season, and hopefully not for our next game. If he is, it's just a middle finger to all of us. But how confident are we in McLean?
1,000%.
I'm very confident in him.
1,000%. One of the smartest people I've ever talked to. And look, and everybody who disagree or everybody who agrees right now that it was a mistake to be hired, I don't think you're going to find anybody that's like, no, I don't think so. I think he's doing a great job. You're not going to find anybody to say that. So everybody agrees that it hadn't worked out. At the same time, he checked a ton of boxes, man, when he was hired. I mean, you talk about a guy
very much like a Scott Frost situation.
Yes, I agree with that. A guy who is relatable, a guy who presents himself very, very well, a guy who just beat the hell out of us by being the offensive coordinator at Tulane, a team that we dominated for years. So you're thinking to yourself, like, all right, so I got a guy who can talk to the world and prove a point. I got a guy who's a proven recruiter. I got a guy who's a proven offensive coordinator, and I got a guy who worked most recently at a school that we dominated forever and just ran the ball all over our ass. I don't fault that hire. Obviously, it hasn't worked out, but it's probably a stepping stone towards the next hire. I think a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, and I guess that kind of leads me to my next question, and it would be, looking at Will Hall, the guy who spoke before me, kind of talked about he wants to be friends with everybody and super nice guy. Everybody loves Will, and including me. He's obviously a great dude.
Super guy.
What kind of traits do we want to look for maybe in our next coach? Are we looking? I mean, Fedora was kind of didn't fit that Will Hall kind of thing, and I don't really think Monken. They're kind of just douchebags, kind of. What is that? Somebody you think we want to look for again, or are we looking for? What do you guys think we should look for?
I mean, my opinion is I'm not really worried about the personality of the coach that much. I want somebody that's going to come in and change the culture. It's going to get everybody on the sidelines bought in. And then I think also the next most important hire we make is strength and conditioning. The good teams at Southern Miss, you can go back and look at that strength and conditioning coach, and it made all the difference at our level. I think it's the most critical hire. It's the coach that spends the most time with the players. And unfortunately, right now, it's just not working out.
I feel like it's like everything what Pilo said, obviously. But, we touched on this a little bit, that all the good coaches in Southern Miss history, we've been able to point to something that they did identifiable. So whatever that next coach might be, I don't give a damn. If we get a guy coming in here that's, Tom Osborne just wants to run the option, we win 11 games, who cares? I don't care. If we get a Fedora who scores 47 a game, great. If we get a Jeff Monken, like at Army right now, that, relies on defense and discipline, and you win that way, I don't care. Who cares, right? As long as that guy can give us more wins than losses, I think that's what I'm looking for.
I got you.
I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I will not be making best friends with coaching staffs for quite a while because it really hurts me having to do this. It hurts me having to do this.
Yeah.
It just does.
Yeah.
When you know these people personally, it's just not easy, man. But we can all agree it's not working out. So it sucks. I wish we were better. Hopefully the next regime does well. But I appreciate your phone call.
Yeah, thanks for the call
very much.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Check out that comment I got pinned up there.
Got you.
You know that? Remember that guy? Stud.
Hold on. You know, I have all the fancy screens.
Oh,
As an alumni, I'm sick of wearing. I wish Sherrod would call in.
Yeah, he should.
Because I'm with you, bro. I and we made the comment earlier. I don't think that, I hear the commentators for Louisiana Monroe, which was horrible, by the way, on that ESPN Plus broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
How hard is it to say Ty Mims? You know, but they kept mentioning the Nasty Bunch, and for guys like Sherrod and Pilo, I'll throw you and I in that. We've been here long enough. We didn't play, but I feel like we're part of it. That's a special term. That's the black shirts at Nebraska. When you suck, you're not part of the Nasty Bunch. You're just not. You don't get to wear that moniker just because, right? And so I would take it even further than saying that we should. If I was Jeremy right now, I'd have a scraper out, scraping Southern Miss off of every damn helmet. And if you can do that off of jerseys, I'd do it too until they prove they can wear it again. That's how. That's how pissed off I am. This is just embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing watching Southern Miss football. Did you ever think that would come out of your mouth?
No.
There was a time where I didn't think it was possible for Southern Miss football to lose 2 games in a row. I didn't think you could do it.
Yep.
Now,
look,
we are
Sherrod
dogs.
He chimed back in.
Okay, we are dogs at Monroe?
Yeah.
And then get him. Yeah, I'm with you, Sherrod.
Next guy, call in. Or we got you live. You should be good to go if you'll unmute.
Hey guys, I'll be quick. I kind of just want to break this down as far as I see it. So since
what's
South
your name
Alabama
first? What's your name
year,
first?
Oh man, I'm sorry, I'm Rand.
Rand, got you. Thanks for calling in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, thanks guys. Love the show. So I just want to put it like the way I see it, right? Like we all got jobs, right? Whether you're in the corporate world or whatever, you've got responsibilities, you got job duties, all that kind of stuff. And Will Hall, since South Alabama, has been on a performance plan, right? And you know it, I know it, everybody that watches him knows it. He's not cutting it. And, just to put it kind of like in the corporate world, at some point in time, you run into negative returns, right? You can't have your lead salesman being the worst guy on the floor. So you've got to, no matter how nice he is or her or, whatever, you got to cut bait and move on down the line. Mm-hmm. And we're way past that point to where, we're probably going to lose people on this. I'm talking about, fans and stuff like that. I mean, this is a big investment for a lot of families coming to this. And, at some point in time, I know y'all are big fans of McClain. I like him too. But if you're not properly managing the things that you're responsible for, that starts reflecting on you. And at some point in time, Jeremy has to have an exit plan, and it doesn't need to be at the end of the year. It has to be very soon to at least show people he's trying to turn it around. So that's all I got. Love the show. Thank y'all.
Appreciate it, Rand. Yeah, that was wow. We'd have Rand on more often.
Yeah, no, that was great.
Those stuff, and he makes a lot of good points with the exit plan with McClain. We have touched on it that I'm positive that McClain had a contingency plan through this season because there's only one more year remaining. If you don't have the contingency plan just at your fingertips, then you're not doing your job.
Sure.
And McClain's a guy that does his job, right? He's just, so did we think that he was going to have to dip into that contingency plan or exit plan, whatever you want to call it, 4 games into the season? I don't think anybody saw that happening. I think I think he was going to have to make it. I think that McClain in his world thought to himself, what am I going to do if we finish 6-6?
Yeah.
I don't think any of us saw this happening where our only win would be versus southeastern Louisiana, which is turning out that's probably what's going to happen. So it is a big hire. Look, Jeremy's a big boy. He's got a big boy job. Southern Miss job is a good job. There's lots of people itching to get in that spot. So I love that we have a person like Jeremy McClain that's going to make that next decision. And it's a tough one and it's a big one, but that's why you got the job.
Sure.
So I'm behind whatever he decides.
Yep.
I'd like to be on that board. Can we get to the top talk on that board? Let's just not just go with the big donors who just kind of pay attention, who just sit up in their suite and do that. Let's get guys like me and Pilo in that damn room to ask the dude, what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? What's your plan?
Yeah.
If there's anybody who has a finger on the pulse, and everybody is on this call is in the same boat as we are.
Yep.
But if somebody has to take that seat,
yeah, I mean, we as bad as we've
like
been the last 10 years, we're over 800 people, and we're 1 in 5, and people are like, I mean, it's just every single week, people are hungry for us to get this thing right. So we're going to shut up and let Michael speak. Go ahead.
Do it. Go ahead, Michael.
Hey guys.
Hey, Michael.
Thanks for having me.
Yep.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah. A couple things. One, in reference to kind of the contingency plan situation, part of me wonders if there's a kind of an agreement about giving him a shot to get to 6 wins or a winning record or a bowl game. Obviously, at this point, with the way things are going and such, you can say with certainty, really, that we're not going to achieve that. And you can really start to see people starting to mail it in. But that being said, I'm curious if there's some kind of agreement of like, look, we're at 5 losses. Technically, we're not at a point to, make a move yet. So I wonder if that is, a 1 in 7 after a 1 in 7 on a bye week, maybe. I don't know, but that's just a thought. And then when it comes to the team, I just really see a culture issue more than anything else. There's a lot of conversation about talent. There's a lot of conversation about resourcing, budgets, nutrition, programs, all those sorts of things are going around. And those are things that, really get zeroed in on whenever you suck.
Yep. 100%.
But I think more than anything else, it's just me personally watching the team week in, week out. I see a team that doesn't really respect their coaching staff, doesn't respect their head coach, aren't really that motivated to play hard for them, aren't really bought in, and are, when it comes to effort, are up and down, effort sometimes, but then, they mail it in.
Sure.
I don't want to say that any of the players aren't trying, but I think they are trying intermittently, and good teams don't win with that kind of culture. I guess what I'm saying is you don't have a good team with a culture like that. And that's really what I see is like, I think Will has really tried to be a nice guy who invests in the players personally and that sort of thing. I just don't know that he's motivated the team, anybody inside of that program at this point to be winners. We need some piss and vinegar in that chair. And I don't think that Will can fulfill that. And at this point, I fear that Will is kind of mailing it in himself just from his body language.
Well, it's hard to disagree with any of that.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate the call, Michael. I mean, you're spot on. Like everybody that gets on, I mean, we're not saying anything that,
Louisiana Monroe is filled with guys that are trying to prove everybody wrong. Will we agree with that? after watching this game tonight, does anybody think that they were more talented than we do? Anybody saw Hardy run for them? Ahmad Hardy looked a lot like his uncle, right?
Yep.
He's like,
you know that he had to be motivated.
Yeah, these guys passed me over, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run through this guy like Walter freaking Payton, and I'm going to prove that they screwed up. And and ULM seems to have, from the one game I've watched them play this year, a team full of that piss and vinegar that you're talking about. And I've yet to see any of that from Southern Miss outside of maybe a touch here and there from Will James. I love Drake Clark, and there haven't been any. I think he's a good player. I've seen maybe a little bit from Kenyon Clay, but
yeah, I think you get a little bit from Chris Jones, the freshman linebacker.
It's sporadic.
Yep,
it's sporadic though.
You're right, bro.
There's a flash every now and then, and look, I hope the guys that are showing those flashes stick around for the next.
Sure.
Whoever the next guy is.
Yep.
But the reality is that there's a whole lot of people who really aren't bought in and don't have that piss and vinegar that probably need to go, and we're gonna have a rebirth of sorts. So
sure.
Anyway, thanks y'all.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Michael. Piss and vinegar, is that one of those things like nook and cranny? Like you got to have both?
Maybe
you can have the piss without the vinegar. Piss and vinegar.
That's kind of where we are right now.
You can't just be like, I need a coach full of piss.
Jay, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, guys? First time, long time.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah, kind of. I can't remember his name. The guy that just spoke, he kind of stole my thunder. I was kind of going to talk about like the optimal timing to make, because we all know it's going to happen. It's just kind of when is it going to happen?
Sure.
Of course, you got your pros and cons. If you do it now or Monday or something,
I think all of that is.
I think obviously pros you could.
Yeah. All of that is. When it was 4 games into the season, you're like, God, we have 8 more games. What are you going to do? Now it's getting to 6, and then when I see it's like 7, I mean, yeah, it's got to be getting to a point to where everybody in the world knows this is about to happen.
Yeah, well,
what are we
going
to
do too is obviously when you become bowl ineligible, and I know that's funny to talk about a bowl at this point in the season, but once you lose that 7th game,
horrible, depressing term.
I mean, but technically you can go bowling at 5 and 7.
You can, but like you have to have a good APR.
So they wait until the mathematical. Yeah,
you have to have a good APR to do that, and our APR is not in a good spot.
At first I was kind of like, oh, they got to make it. They got to do it now. Got to do it now. Then I guess the more we've gone through it, I think they're probably just going to wait until like December 1st, if I had to guess. After that last game, that's just kind of my gut.
Yeah.
But then again, I mean, there's definitely pros and cons. Like if you do it now, maybe you can create a spark with the team and guys just start playing, out of their minds, in a good way. Of course, cons are, kids immediately hitting the portal and shutting down for the year. Or if kids have eligibility, you don't want to, lose their year. So, I mean, there's definitely pros and cons. It's just another year of, football got here so quick. And then it seemed like 5 minutes into the season, we're like, Jesus, I hate football.
It
didn't take long to get
we
there.
We had talked about that a little bit, like on maybe like week 3 or so, that we already had the feeling as if we were in like week 10. That's a bad feeling.
It kind of started at Florida State last year, that blowout to Florida State last year. I tried not to get
there. You're right. You know what? And then the South Alabama game, that's where I've been. I think ever since the Florida. I think you're right, Jay. At Florida State, you're like, yikes, we might not be even as decent as I thought.
I think I was kind of like one of the few guys on Twitter that wasn't actually, screaming fire just yet. A lot of other people were, and I was like, well, let's just wait a minute. And then a couple weeks later, and it's just like, ever since then, it's just been But yeah, just kind of going back to the whole, when would be the best time to do it? Man, that's a tough call for Jeremy because I can't remember.
Yeah.
Somebody said something on Twitter a few weeks ago. It's like if you do it now, and we happen to, make it to a bowl game, then it kind of looks bad. I don't know. It's just it's such a tough decision because. But then again, the guys making these decisions make a lot more money than me, so I try not to feel too bad.
Yeah. Yep.
Same.
It is a business. You got, going back to like whoever it was earlier that was talking about the corporate world. There should be performance measures, and obviously we're not hitting them. And so it's a business. You have to look at it that way. It's the same thing with like in money.
Yeah, I guess my biggest thing before I get off is, and I'll leave y'all. My thing is, because I do agree with Bailey that we've got talent on this team.
Sure.
And so I don't want to lose the talent that we do have to the portal if we make the decision too soon. Obviously, if you make a good hire, maybe they can draw those guys back in, worst case scenario, if we do happen to lose some guys. So it's just, I'm curious, if there's like other conversations being had behind the scenes, it's just, man, it's like a damn if you do, damn if you don't type situation.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll leave you guys.
Yeah, it's not like we have super secret insider information, but I am 99.999% confident that conversations are being had behind closed doors, and there's things.
And you also get a couple months heads up on talking to, making calls if you're Jeremy, so you get a little head start because there's going to be other openings.
Sure, absolutely.
There always is in November, December, so maybe you get a head start. So it's just, it is what it is.
It's a very good point. That's a very good point, Jay.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, no,
Thanks,
Jay, appreciate you calling in a lot. I know. Do we have Ruff on?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go and get the Ruff.
Sherrod, you're good, buddy.
Is he muted?
Oh, yep. There you go. Should be good. Yeah, we got you.
Got you, brother.
What's up? How y'all doing?
Man, we're good.
We're doing great. Thanks for calling in, man. I appreciate your passion just from the comments that you've made in the chat there. But let us know what you feel about it, Sherrod. What does it feel like as a former player watching what you're watching on the TV screen?
Oh man, for one, it is so frustrating to hear so many people blame the coaches. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
As a player, I played in the Todd Monken era, and I guess when he recruited me, we recruited a lot of JUCO players when we came in, and it was just so different back then. You know what I'm saying? Like the nasty bunch actually meant something to us. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was just one of those things where we took pride on the field. And when I watch the games now, dude, it is so frustrating to see the players not give so much effort. I hear people talking about we have so much talent on the field. Yeah, we got talent, but are these teams we playing, are they that much better than us?
No.
Like, is UL that much better than Southern Miss, the talent we have on the field?
No.
The answer is no. It's not. And Will Hall, he didn't just stop, being a good coach when he came to Southern Miss. He was a good coach before he came to Southern Miss. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't just stop knowing how to be a good coach. I don't blame it on Will Hall. I blame it on the players on the field. They're just simple. From the players from Brad, Nick Mullins, Edo Smith, Mike Thomas, like we took pride on the field, and we took it ourselves to win. You know what I'm saying? So just to hear a lot of people blame the coaches, man, it's just so frustrating to me to look at these comments. You know what I'm saying?
No,
that's a great perspective.
I agree. So Sherrod, and Pilo and I have made this observation, at least on some of the podcasts and probably some of the lives, but obviously the coaches need to be better, but it's
right.
What portion of that falls on the players just wanting to try?
I think it's how they say player-led teams and, coach-led teams. I think it's a lot on the players. That's just me personally. Just for me watching the game, just personally watching from a guy who played ball, who was on the field, I just feel like a lot does fall on the players as well. We can blame the players as well. That's just personally.
A portion of the blame has to go towards that direction for sure. And I'm not here to. These are kids; they're in college and all that. I get it.
Right.
But to be honest, it's up to the coaches to get the most out of your players. You make the average players good players great, great players elite, right?
Right. Most definitely.
So it goes. I think there's blame to go around it. We're 1-5, and we're just dogs to freaking ULM on the road.
Yeah.
So there's blame to go around everywhere. We can blame Jeremy. We can blame Will. We can blame every single player who's
That's right.
suited up. And I do feel bad for guys like you, Sherrod, and guys like me and Pilo too, who've been watching it for so long, who have toted that, just carried that flame of Southern Miss, and because of what you guys have done. So appreciate all you did when you're here. I'm glad you still have the passion to put up with this crap we're watching on TV right now, and that you have the gumption to call in and be pissed off about it. That's great, and a lot of programs don't have that.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm pissed off about it. I'm not gonna lie to you, man.
You got one more year.
Yes. Can you suit back
wish
up?
I did.
Can you suit back up? We would take you.
I wish I did, man. But that era's over for my life. But dude, I'm just hoping we get back to what we had.
I hear you.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for calling in. I really appreciate you. Thank you very much, Sherrod.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I love to hear former players call it that kind of feel like we do.
Yeah.
Have that same passion. So it's great.
All right. Rolling? This one's been waiting a while, so we're going to get to him.
Do it.
You should be good to go.
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing?
We're good.
I think most of what I wanted to say has already been said in here. I mean, the part about talent, stuff like that. I mean, the only parts there I really wanted to say is just, tackling's not a talent, or, lining up right's not a talent. I mean, the whole situation's really, really a mess, and that's really all I want to say about that. I want to talk more on the more kind of go future with our next coach. I think really, as far as looking around, Twitter and the boards, I haven't really seen us rally around a candidate like we have Brendan Marion at UNLV. I'm really looking at the hot seats right now in terms of coaching hires or coaches that are in the hot seat. I think the only real competition we may have for him in a head coaching job is going to UAB. And it gets a bit unique with, realignment and Brian Harston sitting on his couch in Boise. That, if we're proactive enough, I think really we can make a good hire if we're proactive enough. Because, y'all have said it. It's been said here a lot of time. We've got the resources. We've got, 36,000 stadium capacity. We're in a great recruiting hotbed, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas, Louisiana all around us. Someone can't. That's just up to us to make the right hire.
No, I agree.
Well, he makes a good point I think he's making this point anyway, like kind of talking about the hot seat, all the people that are on the hot seat. When does the competition for all of the teams that have coaches on the hot seat start, right? Like when do you want to get in and say, hey, we're looking for a coach? There's going to be teams that start to dip their toe in the water, right? Okay. Do you want to be the first one in and start to – because you're starting to interview, you're starting to test the waters on coaches that currently have jobs, right? I guess that's an interesting way to look at it. Like, when do you want to start that? Has it already been started? I don't know, but publicly, privately, probably so. I would think that Jeremy has a list of names, right?
Sure.
That he's had in mind for a little while. But publicly, when does this start? Like, this team does not have a head coach right now. They need a new one. Do you want to be the first in line there? Do you want to be the first in line?
Definitely, I think you need to because, I think they've changed the portal opening date. I think it's a bit shorter now, so it's even more important.
Yeah,
to
that's
really
down
get
to 30 days. Yep, it was 45. I think it went from 60 to 45, and now it's at 30. So,
also, if that in terms of roster retention, if there are guys you want to keep, you need to get somebody in the building that can say you can get these guys to believe in the next vision that the coach has.
Yep.
It seems like we have to be nearing that point. Whatever that point is, I feel like it's got to be getting close. There's 6 games left now. Let's say it doesn't happen this week. After 7, the clock's ticking.
Yeah.
So I agree. That's a good point. That's a great point.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys agree, but Brennan Marion is my guy. I mean, I've been posting his propaganda pretty much daily.
Seems cool. That's the go-go offense guy?
Correct.
Is there? Yeah. Looks cool. I can get behind something like that. It just sounds neat. I haven't done near as much research as you have. I've seen a few blurbs and I watched the little video, and that's kind of it as far as I've done. But it would be neat. I could get behind something like that. I feel like he could come on the pod.
Oh yeah,
it sound cool. So yeah,
let's get that on the books.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, thanks for calling in. We appreciate you.
Thank you. To the top.
I'm gonna get caught up on a few of these comments. We have a lot, and we are over 1,000 people and still rolling. And I agree, Daniel. Over 1,000 viewers at 1 in 5 is crazy. I think it just is a testament to what we have here, the foundation that we have. As bad as we've been, there are still people who want to sit on this post game for we're almost coming up on an hour, and want to listen to our fans.
Yeah, and there won't be much more. If we can get some super big time callers come in, we'll stretch it even further. But
we do have another former player in the Twitter space. If he were, I'm not gonna call him out, but
okay.
He knows who he is. If he'll request, I'll throw him up there. I think it would be interesting to get his take
for sure. And just get so you can keep rolling with those comments. But looking back at this game tonight, if we wanted to just kind of put into context what happened, I mean, specifically, like going way back to that fumble by Clay, right? We all thought Clay needed the ball early on. He got the ball. Gosh, he looks good with it. Had a very but isn't that kind of like what happens? Every game, it seems like year one, there's some excuse. Looking back, well, if this wouldn't happen, that wouldn't happen. The Kentucky game, if we would have had the pick six, every game, there's always at some point you just run out of being able to play the if card. Is that right?
Yeah.
Some point, there were some big plays made tonight. Crawford made some big plays, but then there's some super embarrassing stuff. Like I've never in my life seen a wide receiver flip over the offensive line before the freaking snap. Does that make sense? People that just tuned in, let's say you just tuned in from just some other state. You're like, what the hell is this? And the first thing you heard me say was, we had a wide receiver
that was
flip
crazy
over our own offensive line
in motion
before the snap started.
I mean,
if that doesn't encapsulate what the hell we're talking about,
it was insane, and I was shocked that the commentators didn't make a big deal about it, like they did on the replay. But like, are you not paying attention in like real time?
Let me ask you this, Pilo: is there a football team in America that Southern Miss is better than?
Oh, I would love to see Southern Miss and UAB play.
UAB might be the one. Can we have a bowl for that? Let's institute the toilet bowl.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't know what you've drank tonight, but whatever it is, you're churning out the
content. I think
toilet bowl. That's like Mr. Irrelevant getting drafted.
Exactly. Let's have a ball game, give these guys some stuff. We'll go and let's do it. I mean, that's unfortunately where we are.
Fantastic. That's the best. That's the best that I've seen.
So we do have one more, I think, and then we'll start wrapping this up.
Okay.
Ben, you should be good to go.
Ben, get after it.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Good.
Great.
Yeah, so I know it's all been big talk about the coach. One thing I want to say, at least from my time at Southern Miss, was we were, it's a term we didn't like at the time, but we were a stepping stone school for coaches.
Everybody is.
We played
there's
well.
like 4 coaches. There's like 4 programs in the country, I think, that are not stepping stone schools. Alabama football, Duke basketball. Throw me some. I mean, like everybody's a stepping stone, right? We might be further down the stepping stone list, but yes.
What I guess what I'm saying is we're talking about coaches. what's going to attract the next coach to Southern Miss right now?
I think there's a ton to number one, we have a fan base, right? There's a lot of schools in our position that don't have a fan base, even within our own conference.
Well, you can't tell that from the stadium.
Oh, well,
the fans that come to the games.
The worst 10-year stretch in Southern Miss history, we still have more fans than Troy does. We still have more fans than South Alabama does. We still have more fans than ULM does. Still have more fans than UAB does. The fan support is there, even in the worst time in Southern Miss history. That's not a homer. That's just a fact. So I think that's number one. I think number two, there are people just itching to get behind this program that are here that maybe not be coming out, so it can be even better than it is.
Absolutely.
And number three, I think you have. Look, through 100 years, Southern Miss has done pretty damn good. So the last 10 hadn't been great.
And that's what's
90,
attracted. That's what's attracted a lot of the recruits, and that's just what I think has hurt us as of late. And I hope to change that. That we can.
No. See. I'm going to go ahead and
days.
disagree with you there again too, because I don't think that recruiting has been our problem. I don't think that we don't have good enough players. I think we don't have good enough coaches.
Then why was Hardy playing for ULM tonight and not Southern Miss?
That is a very good point. And I do think that we should have recruited that guy. And I think he approved that time. That's kind of what Southern Miss built their stuff on, wasn't it? Like why the hell was Adelius Thomas playing here and not playing at Auburn or somewhere, right? Had the chip on their shoulder. All of a sudden, we've become entitled.
Yeah.
And the recruiting rankings prove that we have the talent. If you want to go into the recruiting rank, you can say that recruiting rankings don't mean anything. That a 3-star over a 2-star doesn't really mean a whole lot. I get it, but at the same time, it's a stat, right? It's out there. You can look at it. It's something that you can look at. So I don't think that recruiting is the problem at all. I think it's once they get here, development. I would like to shift that term, if you can, from we don't have the recruiting to we don't have the development. And then at that point,
let me interject there. Do you think our development would improve? Again, it's been some time since I've been through the facilities, but seeing at least from when I went to the South Alabama game to what their facilities are, which is another recruiting tool to have, are we missing out on that game?
Well, I think
I know if you had improved in a while.
No. I think our facilities are really second to none outside of indoor practice facility. And do you know how many times, Ben, that you use an indoor practice facility? It's really nice. It's shiny. It's cool. It's something you take the big donors through and you walk them through there and you're like, look at what we do. And 90% of the time, you don't even freaking use it. You just don't. It's cool. But
it's what you sell to the recruits. I think it's how you sell the recruits these days. These kids don't want to just live and die by the tradition.
Again, the places that have those recruits did not recruit better than we did, as far as the stars and the recruiting sites go.
The recruits we have are not getting us to the promised land right now.
Which comes to development, and we totally agree at that point, right? I know I came full circle, and I know that we're all pissed off. But I refuse to believe that our guys are not better than their guys. At worst, we're even.
I think I started out with coaching. It does. Let me circle back to that. I think coaching has squandered. Again, I don't want to bring up
perfect word. I love that word, squandered. I'm so glad you said that because that just puts it all in perspective for me. Squandered.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate era in Southern Miss history. Like you said, we've had 100 years of school. This decade, let's call it, has been a rough one. And, if we can have a bad decade out of 90, I think most schools will take that anytime.
For Pilo, this would be hitting a drive right down the middle and making like a double bogey.
Yeah.
Right, Pilo?
Yeah,
Or I was there. There's no reason I should have made the double bogey.
Yeah.
But I made it.
Or you hit the perfect, well, I don't know if there's anything perfect, but you're in the middle of the fairway with a wedge and you hit it 12 yards, chunky.
Yeah.
That's where we are right now.
That's our perfect.
Just a fat wedge.
Man, thank you so much.
Hey guys, I appreciate it.
Squandered.
Yes,
that's right. That might be the name of this episode. Squandered.
Yep. Hey, that's our next title for.
That's it.
next week's pod.
No doubt. Is there any more callers hanging on?
No, as of right now, but we just crossed the 1100.
I'll tell you this.
Mark.
Look, it could be squandered for the next episode, or it could also be something that you coined earlier. I don't know if you remember doing it, but you said bowl ineligible.
Oh, yeah. I'll be there.
Somebody screenshot that and tweet it.
Let me get my face straight. Here we go.
Because that is fantastic. The first ever bag on the head podcast, I think.
Minecraft. Sponsored by Minecraft.
Oh, my goodness. Yep. Well, look.
Look, here's a great one to end on. Kelly, we agree with you. I wish I didn't feel this way.
Oh, Kelly Corey. Oh, she's a radio lady. We should have Kelly on. Kelly, if you're listening to this, we would love to have you on the episode coming up this week. So hit us up and let's get you on here. Is that it, Pila? We good? You want to get caught up on any comments that have come in before we?
Man, there's been so many. Everything now would be like.
Okay. Well, just know if you commented that we have seen all of them. Just tonight was a very heavy caller show, and
Kelly said deal.
You can't do anything. Oh, great. Let's get Kelly on. She'll probably be able to give us some tips. Hey, don't do this anymore. You guys suck at this. You might be a little decent at that, but just be better. So, anyway, thank you very much, everybody who listened in tonight and who called in and all that good stuff. Remember, you can follow me at Bumper J Bailey and Patrick at P Lowry. Follow us on all the social at To The Top Talk, and don't forget about the mailbag, tothetoptalk@gmail.com. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Tell somebody to the top today. And as always, Southern Miss
to the top.
Paul.
I could play for Alabama, USC, or Notre Dame. You have lots of things to offer,
Amen.
but Southern Mississippi